Hold on one second. There we
Okay.
go.
Carol, can you hear this?
Need to send you more apps.
Yes.
Okay.
Do we want to do a roll call or just say that all members are present and that Carol Marinovich is participating through phone because her hookup will not work? Is that sufficient?
Yeah, that's good, Gloria. Go ahead. And just
Okay.
do a little quick roll call.
Welcome, everybody. It's good to see all of you that I can see. We have work to do. We now have the candidate list. It is final. And so we have questions that kind of figure out to get ready for our investigations and for our interviews in June. And Doug has set us an agenda. And I think we'll just go through the agenda. And with everybody, please, asking questions or making comments or stating any concerns you have. The first question that Doug raised is, does the commission want to interview all applicants? And are we at 15? Is that the right number?
That's correct. 15 applicants.
And does anybody have any comments?
This is not.
I will say I have not reviewed all the applications yet since we just got them yesterday. But it seems to me that everybody who's applied, if they meet the qualifications, should be interviewed. But if anybody has a different feeling, I am open to their comments and concerns.
This is Lassiter. I agree we should interview all of them if we with 15, that we should be able to do that.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any concerns the other direction? All right.
Now, this is Carol. Since we have that time allotted, I think we could work all of them in.
Okay. Now, the next question is what Doug nicely put together some possible interview schedules. No names or anything, obviously, but times and how long it would take, depending on whether we do it with 15, 20, or 30-minute interviews for the applicants. And have you all had a chance to think about that and think how you'd like to do it?
I can't imagine interviewing anybody for less than 30 minutes for something of this importance. I mean, I've spent more time interviewing entry-level positions. I think applicants have a right to be heard, and I think a 30-minute interview schedule would be more appropriate.
Thank you, Diane. Any other comments?
This is Lassiter, and I agree that 30 minutes is necessary if we have the time and can do it, and it looks like we can.
Well, we're supposed to have set aside June 9 and 10, so I think we can do it. We did, as I recall, Francis was involved, at least, and some other people. I think we did 19 people in 2 days, and we certainly could do 15 in 2 days with a 30-minute interview schedule. Okay.
I'm completely on board with that.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to vote? I am open to having people vote. The interviews if there's a motion that all applicants be interviewed and that the interviews will be set 30-minute interviews. Anybody have a motion?
I would make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second. Ebony.
Okay, thank you. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Then, Doug, that means we're probably using, you sent 3 schedules, but we're probably using the schedule that shows that we interview 12 candidates on the 9th and 3 on the 10th. And if if in fact that looks too tight, we could spill one or two more over to the 10th to make it a little easier to work with and maybe give the commission a break along the way once or twice. Does that make sense to everybody? I see nodding heads. Okay.
Then I will set up the interviews. When we get those selected, then I will put those into 2 days of interviews as opposed to cramming it all into one, which would be a really, really big day.
That
so
would,
I think,
yeah, that would be good and give us a little more time on the second day so that if we need an executive session before and the time we need to go through the voting process in the public meeting.
and just to give everybody a little bit, as you're looking at that schedule, we have the executive sessions built in to the meeting. And the purpose of that was the commission felt instead of talking about so many candidates' background, they decided to break it up. And so they went into executive session to discuss smaller batches of candidates for their background, both their financials and the criminal history background. And so that's why they broke up and we embedded executive sessions into the schedule. And so that's why that's there. So you don't have one big executive session at the end where you're trying to remember everybody. And it gives you a little chance to look to examine the background in the context within a relative time period after the interview.
Okay.
Gloria, excuse me, are you suggesting also that maybe we switch instead of doing 12 and 3, do, I don't know, 10 and 5 or something to make?
Yes, I think he'll reformat that to make it a little more.
And I mean, I'll leave it up to commission how you want to do that. Do you want to I mean, Diane, do you have an idea of what you were thinking or?
No, it just seems, I just know from hiring people, after a while, everybody starts sounding alike and I think, a little bit more even distribution of the candidates might be a little bit easier and a little bit more beneficial for the candidates.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. We just need a little more time on the 10th because we have the
Right.
little while through the voting procedure to
Sure.
get to the 3. So, but I agree, we want to spread it out a little bit so that we can.
So 10 and 5, would that work?
I trust that Doug can manage that. I think as you're working on it and scheduling, I think Doug can make sure that it's a nice balance and we have plenty of time on the 10th.
I think that's right.
I can do that.
Well, you have nothing else to do, Doug. So that's what we want you.
This is fun stuff though.
Did you get your refrigerator fixed?
No, I got to buy a new one.
Okay. All right. So the next question that Doug sent us, because thankfully he remembers these things.
Let's see.
Will the applicants be considered during deliberations where they had an interview or not?
Yeah, that's probably immaterial. I mean, unless somebody comes up and cancels, certainly would be there. But that applicant that was there in case something happened and an applicant could not make an interview for whatever reason, if they would still be considered, even though they were for some reason had to skip their interview or had to cancel.
Right. I had some recollection that we had one candidate who thought he was going to be deployed somewhere. And we were unsure about that, but it worked out. So that's, I think, why that question was in there. In the past, we had to look at that. So we'll go over that. And then does the commission want to keep the same process for determining the order of interviews by allowing the secretary to randomly draw names to set the schedule? And it seems to me that's the fairest way, unless somebody tells him that we have 8 judges? So
I think we have 7 judges and 8 attorneys.
Okay, 7 judges and 8 attorneys. If somebody says they have something they have to be at, so please don't assign me from 2 to 3 on the first day. Then hopefully we can work with that too as well. Okay, so we're set for June 9 and 10. We're just going to shoot through this, guys. And we've got the days. And then what, somebody have something to say?
No, I was
Okay.
just clearing my throat.
Oh, okay. Well, the commission allow a video interview if applicant requests one. I guess,
We had a situation where a candidate was out of the country at the time of the days with a pre-planned trip.
right.
And so that candidate asked for a remote interview, and we made that possible. And that's why these are just scenarios that come up. And we can certainly make that happen. If the commission wants an in-person, doesn't want to be all end all on an in-person interview and is willing to take a video interview, we can make that happen.
So I think that we should know that that might be a possibility, but hopefully will not happen. Okay. So now this takes us to the investigation stage. There's a lot of background information that needs to be gathered, but luckily we have assistance in that area. The disciplinary administrator will perform the background checks on all applicants. And we learned quickly that we need to look at social media. So we have somebody to look at everyone's social media to make sure there's not some issues there. And those will be reported to us so the person who's doing the investigation of the individual can look at it and put that into their report. So that gets us down to who's going to do what. We have 15 candidates and there are 9 of us. So, and the interesting thing about this group, which really surprised me, is that it is totally Eastern Kansas centric. There's only one person from Wichita, and everyone else is from the eastern part of the state. So we'll just have to, they ought to be divided up and we do the investigations unless someone has a reason that they don't think they can investigate one of these candidates. And it seems the best way to do it is for the secretary to randomly assign investigations. Now, some will get more than one, not everyone. I would tell you that I would like to only have one because I want to be available for all of you when you have questions or something comes up in your investigation that you need some help with. Okay, I'm going to be the contact person that you can call and say, what do I do with this? And that does happen occasionally. And then we'll have a secondary person looking also at the candidate. I mean, we're going to look at all of them, each of us, I assume, but a secondary person who has some responsibility to help the lead investigator. So that
And Glory, I will add that we usually divide those up by congressional district teams that you guys are already on. And so we have the elected attorney that is on one with the appointed on the other one. And so you guys are kind of a team on your congressional districts. If you're the lead in that team, if you're the lead for the candidate, your partner in the congressional district would be the backup, if that makes sense, or the second, whatever you want to call them. And so, and vice versa for the other person, they would be the lead and you'd be the backup for that person. But we'll divide them up by congressional district teams, how they'll be assigned. And then I will assign those randomly again to your teams for investigation.
The risk of throwing a huge wrench into all of this. I have a really nasty divorce case that I'm going to try the last part of May. And I need all of next week and the following week to either get ready for it or to try it.
Well, and I have blocked out pretty big chunks of time over the next 2 to 3 weeks for specifically for this. So if I can help with that load or take 2, I'm happy to do that.
Thank you, Katie.
I was afraid that would happen. I was afraid I would get booked up too. So I'm happy to help.
Well, Bob, do you think you could do one investigation, or would you like to be secondary on two?
I'd rather be secondary because I don't know that I'm going to have a whole lot of time to devote to this until after the 29th of May.
That doesn't give a lot of time. Okay, well, so I guess, can the rest of us pick up that slack? Okay, I will help pick that up, Doug.
Okay, that's fine. And I can draft something for you, Gloria. You ultimately have the decision on the assignments for everybody. And so
Okay.
I will draft them randomly and you can parse those out however you see fit.
Okay.
I will randomly select them and then from there you can designate if there are changes that need to be made.
And we will get that done this week so that you all can get started.
We will get the investigations done today, the assignments done today, and get those to Gloria so she can review those. We will, and then after that, later as soon as we can, the day after that, we'll probably get the interview schedule set as well. And so, but what we will focus on first will be the assignments for investigation, so you guys are able to do your work right away. The applicants already know they're going to be on the 9th or the 10th, so they don't know which day that is, but they know the days, and so it's more important for me, and it won't be until this afternoon, unfortunately, that we will make those assignments, get those to Gloria, and you guys will have your assignments for investigation by this afternoon.
Okay. Does that work with everybody?
Is there I have a question. Is there some sort of, I don't know, template or guidelines of exactly the kinds of things we should be looking for or how we would go about doing this work?
Yeah, and we've got some guidelines that will come along with that.
Okay.
When your assignments come, we have expectations of what you'll do for investigation.
Great.
Obviously, there's in the application itself, it talks about the things that are important for a justice. And so there will be further instruction that will come along to guide your investigations, along with all the information that you will be receiving later as soon as we can get that done. While we're in the investigation and the background discussion, we anticipate that we hope we can get all the information back to us. Again, we're going to talk to the disciplinary administrator because they'll do the background check. We check to make sure and get you a list of all the cases that judges have appeared in, if they've assisted the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeals, and then any cases the attorneys have had in the appellate courts, and then also our social media background check with the validity. So those are the things that you're going to get over the next couple weeks that you'll have in addition to the application material. And also add that we get a slew of reference letters that come in with these applications. And there's a lot of them that come in with each application. Some of them are attached to the applications. Some of them come independently, either by email or actual hard copy mail. And so we've got to get those uploaded and scanned and everything and put into the file. So you probably don't have all the recommendation letters yet, but those are going to fill in and we will keep you updated as those reference letters come in.
And in fact, there are some that did not get in right now because even with the applications, because we so wanted you to get the application itself right now that I concentrated on getting the application scanned into you before and not the letters of recommendation. So I will get on that as well. Hopefully can get everything that I have now scanned and updated, and I'll send you an email to let you know that they've been uploaded. As well as what Doug mentioned, the judges will also have a report. You'll get a report on any kind of violation confirmations that they may have gotten from complaints.
And Diane, after you get that information, if you've got questions, just give me a call. We can
Oh,
talk.
I will. I promise.
Something. Okay. Okay, I'll try to be available at all times.
Has the list of applicants been publicized yet? Has that been released or is that being added to the website?
There was a press release that went out yesterday late, well, after about 5 o'clock, I think it went out listing the applicants, and that copy of that press release is in your OneDrive folder. Under the press release section.
Now, when you send this assignments and the information, will it detail how people submit their report?
You can submit Yeah, we will tell them that, but you could always just email it to me.
Okay,
And everybody, also for clarification there, Katie and Francis can certainly add to it. I think the reports are basically whatever you would like to present. It doesn't have a specific form. This is just your commission report, your report to the commission on your investigation of the individual. And so I don't think they have any specific form, but it's kind of whatever you would like to your report to be to the commission that is in a written report to the commission.
And then I'm trying to remember, I feel like last time, if we got information, you know, say we get a phone call or communication about an applicant that we're not, you know, heading the investigation of, I think I just did a separate little written memo for each one of those and sent them to Michelle, just a short, here's what the background was. Is that what we should do? Is that right?
yes, so she can add it to the drive.
Right.
Okay.
And, you know, just to be clear, you guys are investigating all of these individuals. You have no restrictions whatsoever, even though you're a lead assignment on somebody or a secondary assignment. You know, it's up to you to vet these people however you feel is necessary, talking to everybody about these candidates, whether you're the lead or not. And so, you know, everybody will be probably more than happy to talk to you. And so, you know, it's imperative that all of you get the mindset that you're really looking at all of these candidates together.
That's true. And you may read an application and see something that concerns you, and also see that the applicant has listed someone that you know pretty well as a resource. So you may want to call them and ask that information from them, even though it's not your person that you're investigating, and then submit that information. Any other questions on the process? They'll come up as we go along, I'm sure. Jennifer, you have anything you want to add?
No, I'm ready to get started.
Okay, and Francis, how about you? Anything you remember that concerned you as you were doing investigations?
No, I think we've covered it all. There is a lot to read, so keeping an eye out. And Michelle does a good job of letting us know when new things have been uploaded, because little memos are added just when you think you finished reading about someone, there's another letter that's come in or something.
That's a good point. Thank you. So Doug has sent us a voting procedure which was developed by a previous commission on how to get to the 3 people whose names will go to the governor. You probably haven't had a lot of time to read through it and think about how that will work. But I want you to do that so that we can be ready on when we get to Topeka to go through it, make sure, tweak it if we need to tweak it, and that will be done in our regular meeting on how we're going to decide get from 15 to 3. I mean, basically, with having so many applicants previously, the commission felt that it was a good idea to lower the numbers in steps rather than just trying to get to 3. But I want you all to think about that. If you have any suggestions or ideas for that, then we will consider it and figure out how to do it. Okay? Does that make you feel okay?
I'm assuming this is the method we used last time.
Yes, it is.
I'm assuming this is the method we used last time. And
Yes.
I have to say, I thought it worked rather well.
I thought it did too, Carol, but I want to make sure, because we have a number of new members, that they feel comfortable with it before we step ahead and do it the same way.
Yeah, I will just add that Gloria's right. This was just a way for a system to pare it down relatively quickly, because it would take you forever if you just voted for 3, for 3, for 3, for 3. It would take you guys forever to get down to the actual 3, unless somebody actually made a vote to let's send these 3 names. but everybody felt that this was a legitimate way to give everybody a shot, and then pare it down, as Gloria said, by steps to get us to lower numbers where then you could vote on the people who are going to go to the governor.
And we will be doing this in open meeting. So you know. So
And that in that voting procedure, last time they instead of calling out Doug Shima voted for so and so, we just numbered the ballots 1 through 9. And we would just say ballot 1 voted for, these 5 people in this round or whatever. And so your names will be on the ballots, and who you voted for will be on the ballots, and those will be available by a Cora request. We're required to do that under Cora, but we're not required to announce the actual vote in the meeting of who is tied to that vote. But that is available information that is necessary under Cora upon a request that is made to our office.
and hopefully we can come to a consensus when we get to the end. But it's a process, so we'll see how it goes. Okay. Any other concerns about the voting process at this point? We'll certainly discuss it more when we get to Topeka. Okay. Now, accommodations and dinner. Previously, the staff has been wonderful and made us hotel reservations at the Cyrus Hotel, which is an easy walking distance to the Supreme Court. And previously we have had a dinner together the night before just to get a little better acquainted, not to talk business because we can't do that, but to just kind of, know who we are. And I can tell you about all my grandchildren at that time. Okay. No.
And actually, Gloria, you would make your own hotel reservations. You would just say, you make your own hotel reservations. You would just say that you are with the state so that you get the government, just to get the government rate. But you would make your own reservations, and we can make, we can set up a reservation for the hotel or for the dinner if you want to have dinner the night before. But everybody makes their own individual hotel reservation.
I didn't realize that. Thank you. Have you reserved a block?
No, you just say it's a government rate. Because if somebody did not want to stay at that hotel, you could pick your own hotel.
Okay.
Michelle, is there an issue with regard to reserving a hotel for the second night and then in the event we're late getting out?
No, we haven't had any issues that I'm aware of. Do you, Doug? I mean,
no, whatever's necessary.
mm-mm.
The commission will cover costs of whatever's necessary for your transportation, lodging, and meals for this period. So it will be covered completely.
I'm getting old and frail, and I don't drive well at night anymore.
That's
And
it's perfectly acceptable, Judge.
I've got a very long drive ahead of me when
Yes,
we're
you
done.
Okay, that will work out. Any other questions about accommodations? Anybody have a preference on a place to have dinner together? And then you can
just let us know if you guys have a preference. We'll set up all those accommodations for you, Gloria.
right. Thank you. We could just eat at the hotel probably is one of the possibilities.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think the Cyrus works out nice, that hotel and the restaurant.
Okay. All right, so then Doug put some miscellaneous on our agenda that the public will be able to make comments on candidates by letter up to a week before interviews. If commissions have considered any letters they received up to the date of the interviews, and that we will not be receiving hard copies unless asked by a commission member of things. It'll all be on the drive. These applications, the complete application, not the part for public release, are confidential, And because it does have a lot of confidential information about the individuals. And so we want to keep that confidentiality. So, but if you need help, I like Bob, have been around for a while. And I always like to read off a paper, but I am now learning that I can really do just fine reading off my computer. So, you know, I will tell you the first time we did one of these, I printed everything out. I'm not going to do that anymore. So,
I am.
One comment on
go ahead.
One comment on that. Last time I remember a couple people emailed me information or comments about a candidate. Should I just forward that email to you, Michelle?
You can, yes, if it's like something like that, we can add it to the file.
Okay.
So it will be available to all commission members. That's a good idea. Yes. Okay. Any other questions about that? And materials, if you got problems, my experience is Michelle is always very helpful when you can't get on board or something happens and you need some help. So regrettably for Michelle, feel free to contact Michelle to ask those questions.
I'm always happy to help it, and if I can't, I'll find an answer for you.
Bob, did you have something?
No,
Oh, okay. It looked like your hand was up. I guess you're holding up.
I'm holding my head up.
Oh, okay. Well, it is awfully early in California, I will say that.
Yeah, and we started at 6.
Well, now you can have a nice brunch, after a lunch or breakfast afterwards.
There
Is
you
there-
go.
Is there anything else or any questions any of the commissioners have? Well, are you ready to adjourn?
Well, thank you all very much. We'll be in touch with materials, and thank you very much.
Again, everybody feel free to contact me with any issues you have. You have my phone number and my email, and I'll try to be available at all times. Not maybe all times, but most. Okay, thank you. I'm really looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you.